Thank you for joining us on a brand new episode of 420 grams. आज संडे है, 2:08 हम 7 मिनट लेट हैं यहाँ पे, but that is perfectly fine because we were facing some internet issues, so we apologize for that. So why do we need to apologize for that? I think the entire country is facing internet issues. So why don't you just take the internets जो provide कर रहे हैं, जो हमारे देश की फुटबॉल को चला रहे हैं, वो लीजिए और आपका इंटरनेट भी फुटबॉल की तरह बेहतरीन यहाँ पे चलेगा। पहली तीर यहाँ पे छोड़ दी गई है, लेकिन बात क्या है कि हमारे साथ आज जयदीप बासु और सिद्धांत ऐनी हमारे साथ हैं, एंड ऑफ कोर्स द टू फॉर्मर प्लेयर्स, the two people you really love coming on the show for to hear their analysis, Renedy Singh and Ishwaq Ahmed कुछ ही देर में हमारे साथ जुड़ रहे हैं। Renedy भाई अपना इंटरनेट ठीक कर रहे हैं, Ishwaq will of course in a meeting, and he's of course talking about the state of affairs of J&K football, so we'll talk to him what he's spoken about when he's here. But before they come, so आज बताऊँ क्या है कि आज बात होने वाली है, we're going to talk about tactics. We're going to talk about the evolution of tactical warfare in the ISL in that short period of 6 years that the ISL has existed. And so what we've done is we've of course gone through the formations that teams have used since 2014 to now present day. And there's no point going and talking about all the teams. So what I've done is we've gone through just the 4 big teams, at least what I feel in terms of fan engagement, in terms of what they've won, and in terms of how successful they've been on the field. So the 4 teams that we've gone through are ATK, FC Goa, Bengaluru FC, and Kerala Blasters. And Kerala Blasters more so because since Renedy and Ishwaq are with us, they've played for the franchise. Ishwaq has, of course, has also been a part of the franchise till present day. He's part of their coaching staff as well. So they know exactly what is going down there in terms of how they're preparing tactically for a game. Renedy bhai, thank you so much for joining us. आपका थोड़ा अभी सिग्नल डाउन लग रहा है। कोई नहीं,
because I can see you guys clearly, though I don't know how. I can hear clearly and see you guys. Even I don't know what's going on. It has never happened.
No, वो I think ठीक हो जाएगा रेडी भाई थोड़ी देर में। कोई नहीं, थोड़ी देर में ठीक हो जाएगा। But so I'm going to just start the chat because we've done a bit of a थोड़ा homework हमने यहाँ पे किया हुआ है. And before we get into the detail of tactics and everything, Renedy bhai, जब आप खेल रहे थे, you know, when NFL was in its prime, NFL, I-League, what was the emphasis on tactics like? And what was like the preferred formation by a majority of the teams taking the field at that time?
See, now football has become very tactical now. In our days, with Sukhi sir, yes, he used to concentrate more on defense. And going on counter-attack, those were the days. But after when I played in Calcutta, there was no tactical as such, you know. And I said before also, you know, football player hai, jaan de do, 90 minutes mein, you know, jitna ho sake de do, and that's how we used to fight. There was no tactical thing as such. But the only coach used to say that ki attack mein jana hai aur aana hai, attack mein jana hai aur aana hai. But how? But like I said, always said that if we have a ball on the left, right side को क्या करना है नहीं करना है, and they say overlap जाना है आना है, defender लोग को बोलना है overlap जाना है आना है. No, that's the only thing they used to say. But there are coaches like Sukhi sir who is very compact in defense. He is used to be very organized in defense, and we go on counter attack. Other than that, in Calcutta so far, it's about giving your best. 100% de do bas ho jayega, you know. But football has become very tactical now. If you see, you know, the formation and how do we play, how do we start the game, and how do we press, should we press high, should we press mid, or should we press low? And these are the things. It has happened, you know, after 2005-06 when Bob Houghton came, we start knowing about the shape of the game. Now that's the changing phase of India that we start knowing. But now 2011, 12, 13, you know, when ISL started, you know, the training under good coaches, day in, day out, you know, the football has become very tactical now.
Jaideep sir, before we of course start talking about ISL, because we're going to be talking about the tactical evolution of teams in the ISL, but if you talk NFL, you know, the great JCT team of the NFL, that era, so what was the kind of formation that you would see sitting from the outside? What was the things that the eye was picking up?
See, mostly if you look at 97, 98, the great JCT team you were talking about, they were mostly playing on 4-3-3 formation. And of course, as Renedy said, Sukhi sir had great stress on defense. because he himself was a defender, so he always used to stress on defense. And his main thing was talking to him. I always found how to eliminate mistakes. That he always used to stress on it. But luckily, he had a team which had 3, 4 very, very good forwards. If you have Baichung Bhuti, I.M. Vijayan, and Stephen Aberoboi together in one team, then I don't think you need much of formation, because all you have to look after your defense, and that's what they used to do, as Renedy said. So defense was, of course, was very strong, but I think that JCT team was very lucky to have a forward line which was better than any other team in the country. And in the end of the day, it did the trick. So more than formation, it is the individual brilliance of the players which won them the league. I don't know whether Renedy will agree with me.
And Renedy bhai, somewhat you would have to say that it is, I mean, formations can sound very fancy and can sound very complicated, can sound very simple also. But basic trick is this: formation is made according to the quality of the player in your team.
Exactly.
First is quality of player, then formation comes.
Yeah. See, that's why I was talking about, I agree with Jadid, individual brilliance is something, who you can come out as a winner. If you don't have individual brilliance, you can fight all 90 minutes, but that 1 second or 2 seconds, that makes everything changes. But then formation-wise, if it's like I say, when we see Barcelona, when we see European teams, it's such a beautiful game, but are we ready enough to play that game? So everything depends on the player. So if I have a player who is not ready to play back, who is not ready to play to start from the back, then why will I play as a coach? No. So I have to concentrate on defending, keep it compact according to my players. So formation, it all depends on the players and how good the player are according to that. I think that's the best way to
Renedy, before I get Annie in, I don't want you to name the coach or anything, but have there been times when you've been made to play out of position to keep the formation set, but you've seen that it's not suiting your game?
See, now when we started, all we used to do was defense, So now we have got a good result with Sukhi sir against UAE. But if you see the game, UAE, in those days, they have just played World Cup. And then for all we have to do was just defense for 90 minutes. I know Mahesh Gauli, Deepak Mandal, they all were defending so hard. But then when we got the ball, we couldn't do much. In those days, whatever we defend so hard. But then now, see, I think we were talking in the morning, so how it all depends on the players. Defending is to be organized in defense is also a key. But then to play a good football, to play attacking football, you need individual brilliance and you need individual quality. So this is what we are lacking. See now, for example, coming back to India, the way we have played against Qatar, that's one of the organized defense that we have seen. But are we ready to break against Bangladesh? Not ready. So that's the next step for us.
Fair enough.
And this is very important because until and unless we are good with technique, we don't have individual brilliance. We cannot be. We won't be able to play that attacking game we're talking about. Yeah.
Annie भाई, आपने ISL सबसे ज़्यादा देखा है हम चारों में से.
मत करो यार.
मैं ISL के बारे में आपको नहीं पूछने वाला. But just in the long time frame that you've been following Indian football, have you somehow got, if I talk national team with you, what's the kind of sense you've got of the way the national team has approached games, at least tactically on the field?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you guys have kind of summed it up in that a lot of it depends on who the opposition is and what we are sort of trying to achieve from that game itself. And I guess many of the people that are watching the show are used to following European football, so the level of tactical discussion and all of that over there is much higher. I mean, if anyone, I'm sure we all watched Leeds and Liverpool yesterday. A perfect example of two coaches who are highly tactical and who like to play the game a certain way and which resulted in that incredible, quite incredible 4-3 result that we saw yesterday. But look at the kind of players that they have at their disposal, and also the kind of teams that they've built, especially if you look at Bielsa, the kind of, or even Klopp actually for that matter, the team that he's put together at Liverpool over the period that he has been there. You know, it's I don't know whether players come first in their case, or the tactics or the formation comes first.
With Bielsa, the formation comes first.
Yeah,
and
perhaps with a big club like Liverpool, which has a lot of money and a lot of sort of where players, some of the best players from all over the world want to join these clubs and come and play for these clubs. So they have the luxury of being able to think of a system that they want to play, a kind of football that they want to play, and then build a team accordingly to fit into that, which of course also satisfies the desires of the fans to win, etc., etc. As far as the Indian national team is concerned, unfortunately, like Renedy is saying, a lot of times we are up against opposition that has had far more exposure and is playing at a generally higher level, like he was talking about the UAE, जो World Cup खेल के आए हैं, तो मतलब obviously थोड़ा क्या considerable difference तो होगा ही between the preparedness, the tactical ability, as well as the players that you have on the pitch. तो वो थोड़ा मुश्किल हो जाता है in that regard. You have to essentially park as many players on your side of the pitch, or and hope for the best. Hope that Renedy gets a chance on a dead ball or something like that. So in training you work on those kind of situations, corners, free kicks, and those kind of situations a little bit harder.
Stuff Sukhi sir used to do. Sukhi sir used to do that. Throw-ins, set pieces, corners. I mean, Renedy bhai, jab aap log England gaye the, the emphasis was that.
Sukhi sir is very, very clever. He can see that, the difference is, the gap is big. When you play against Fulham, when you play against West Brom, he understands that, we can only concentrate. People want to see that attacking game. But do we have that attack? Even though we have Baichung, we have Biju Bhai, we have 1-2 players who are good players. But then as a whole, are we ready to play attacking game? No. And he have realized that very early, that we have to stay compact and we have to concentrate on the dead ball or on the crosses, or on counter attack. And it clicks and it works for him in those days. But if we come back, it's a nice, yesterday was one of the best matches that we have seen. Of course, of Leeds United and Liverpool. You know why? Because the formation, whatever formation we want, I have been following Leeds United for last 1 year. And the way they want to play is high pressing 4-1-4-1, keep moving. There is no certain,
there's a directness to that approach.
So and you press 90 minutes. But can they press in this level for 90 minutes for the whole season? No. We still have to see. I feel they can, because they have done that in Championship. But I feel they can. And he is a coach, very adamant. Then he will go and against Liverpool, who has played such an attacking game, who have played against, So even Salah said yesterday the way they have played. So now it took time, 1 year, and he has been there for last 2 years in Championship. Couldn't qualify, and last year he qualified playing the same type of game. But why I'm saying that it takes time to work the formation, it takes time to work those kind of formation is because yesterday, if you see 2 blunder from 2 great new signing, the one defender from Germany, and Rodriguez, 2 highest paid signing had a blunder because they were not there for last 2 years. And to get into that system, it will still take time, And coming back to Indian football team, the Stimac tried to play from the back, tried to start again, tried to play a good game. But now, after a few months, they have realized that we are not ready. So now we will see a different type of game. So this is so formation takes time, but Stimac, will he get that much time from the Indian fans or the Indian officials? Big question.
ये बहुत valid point है यार, because जो pressure पड़ता है ना coaches पे, from fans, from the media, from all sides, to get the results that are that basically become the bottom line of the whole conversation. Tactics गए भाड़ में, सबको end of the day जीतने से मतलब है, point से मतलब है, आपके points table में आपके नाम के बगल में कितना अंक है. So tactics and all, ठीक है. It's good for us to sit and chat about, but especially when you're talking about high stakes stuff like qualifying for the Asian Cup and all, when we look at the context of the the national team, it doesn't make too much of a difference to anyone what kind of tactics we're
जनाब देखिए, यहाँ पे हम पूरा शो 1.5 घंटे का टैक्टिक्स पे करना चाहते हैं. शुरू में ही आपने गए बोल दिया टैक्टिक्स गए भाड़ में. ये क्लोजिंग शो, ये क्लोजिंग कमेंट है, ये क्लोजिंग कमेंट है.
But Arjun,
ऐसा नहीं है.
Jaydeepda will understand. Jaydeepda will understand. I will not name the coach, okay? And
I know who you're talking about, sir. I already know.
No, yeah. But मेरे को सिद्धांत एनी जैसा कोच भी मिला है मेरे को. बोले जैसा बोर्ड में 5 मिनट दिखाया कि यहाँ से यहाँ जाना है, तुम्हें एखान থেকে ओवरलैप करते होगे, लेफ्ट से एखाने आते होगे. After 4 minutes, the coach got puzzled. Then he threw away the board. Murder till it kill, you know. Yeah, so that was the kind of tactical game. No, honestly, but I can understand where Siddharth is coming from, because fans wants to win. Because Calcutta fans, you know, they don't tactical to amar ke jeet jai, you know. So then the coach also was behaving the same way. Tactical gaya bahar mein, abhi jao, murder chale jao, jaake kill, you know. So those were the things. But now football has to. Even yesterday, yeah. Please.
Sorry. Jaydeep sir, my question is this simple, that because after this we'll move on to ISL tactics. In Calcutta, just purely because the pressure is so high, like Renedy bhai said right now. Moreover than not, आपने क्या देखा है? Pressure takes over anything of planning. Because अगर 5 मिनट में planning नहीं चली, तो फिर जी जान लगाओ और अपने को जीत चाहिए, चाहे कुछ भी हो जाए.
See, there are coaches in Calcutta. There were coaches in Calcutta like Amal Datta, who were more tactical than any other. And if you ask me that way, even if there is a lot of pressure, I liked Bob Houghton a lot.
Yeah.
Because he struck to simple 4-3-3 formation. He knew how much his players, how much quality his players have. He knew it very well. He wanted Renedy Singh because ये एक आदमी है, एक आदमी को काट के बॉल रखेगा. ये सबको मालूम है. That's why Sukhbinder Singh और Bob Houghton always wanted Renedy Singh. आपको ड्रिबल करने के लिए कौन है? एक ही आदमी रह गया है बीच में, क्लाइमेक्स लॉरेंस. वो ड्रिबल करके ले जाएगा. बाकी उन दिनों में खूब लोग बोलते थे, यार क्या खेल रहे हैं इंडिया, जीत तो रहे हैं, but they are playing one pass, long pass game, ये वो. अरे बाबा, प्लेयर भी चाहिए जो बॉल पैर में रख के आगे थोड़ा सा ले जाएगा. If you take the ball and if you try to keep it and you lose it immediately, then what is the fun? The ball will come back to your defense once. Counter immediately. So that way, what Renedy says, I agree with him. One thing, even under pressure, Bob Houghton had a tactics which I remember all these boys, including Renedy, used to keep up playing. I remember against Syria. In the Nehru Cup final against Syria, which Renedy of course scored a goal, I remember. So they were under so much pressure, but they never lost the tactics. It may be a simple tactics. I'm not saying it was a great tactics or बहुत complicated कुछ था, ऐसा नहीं था. But they played according to the tactics and finally won the game. I think that is because Bob Houghton made them train and practice in the same fashion again and again. So however the pressure is, they will. Am I right, Renedy?
Yeah.
Am I right, Renedy?
Yeah, I think Arjun. Yes, Dada. I think reputation. What Jaydeepda is talking about. Tactic is something, you know, like I said, it takes time, but then you have to do repetitions after repetitions. Yesterday, what we have seen in the game in English Premier League, that's after repetition. So Bob Houghton, they say, you know, 6 says every single day, attacking with the ball and coming back, defending. So then that repetition, it becomes automatic. So that's why, you know, there was not much changes. There were 3 or 4 or 5 player max changes in every team, you know, and when you change in every game, the new player coming in, so where is your shape going to go? Whatever the situation is, whatever, if we are conceding, you know, we cannot just allow to lose the shape while attacking and shape while defending. It's so important, and that was in DNA for some players after 5-6 years, you know. So that you need time and you have to work repetitions after repetitions.
देखो जी, क्या है, जब फुटबॉल मैच के लिए वार्म अप होता है ना, तो अक्सर फुटबॉल मैच का वार्म अप होता है 15 से 20 मिनट। 420 ग्राम्स में हम सबको वार्म अप करने के लिए लग गए ढाई बज गए, मतलब आधा घंटा लगा वार्म अप में, क्योंकि असली कहानी तो अब शुरू होने वाली है। पर ये सही है, ये वार्म अप हो जाता है ना आदमी, यहाँ पर टैक्टिक्स की बात है। तो हमने ना क्या करा,
मैं जाने वाला था स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट पे एक्चुअली, because before the ISL started, there was one season where there was kind of a little bit of indecision, हो रहा है नहीं हो रहा है, शुरू हो रहा है season नहीं हो रहा है. So there was a group of players that had been put together by the IMG Reliance,
where they were training in Bombay.
Yes, they were all in Bombay. Renedy was of course very much a part of that group of people, and Trevor Morgan, am I right?
Yeah. Yes.
Was
Kerala Blasters.
Yeah, he was in charge of overall training for the entire pool of players, that Indian players that was going to come into this league. And so what was the general idea behind putting together that?
Tactics तो बताने दो, जो finding तो बताने दो भाई, 2:30 बज गए। Finding जो मैं तो जा रहा था वहाँ पे, आप आ गए अंदर।
Sorry.
वो पहले एक कर लेते हैं, then we talk about this thing, because क्या है कि हमने आज पढ़ाई करी है भाई, ऐसा नहीं है कि बस मुंह उठा के शो करने आ गए यहाँ पे, हमने पढ़ाई करी है। हुआ क्या है, so we've got data of all the teams from 2014 to present day in the ISL, and what were their starting formations. Understand this, what were the formations that they started with to go ahead, because when you go ahead you come back with the different formations. More often than not, your attack and defense formations are not the same. So rather than seeing all the teams in the ISL, what we did was we took a look at 4 teams, that being ATK, Kerala Blasters, FC Goa and Bengaluru FC, and what their formations were like. And Renedy bhai, this were the findings that came out, because findings kya hota hai, then you tally where was the maximum number of which tactics was used the maximum number of times, and so on and so forth. So if our lovely producer is listening, Sanaka, can you play that first slide for everyone, so then we can take it forward? Because there was one formation that stood out between these 4 teams over the 7 seasons of the ISL, and that formation, Renedy bhai, was 4-2-3-1. It was used by Antonio Habas in ATK. It was used by FC Goa a lot. It was used maximum number of times by Sergio Lobera, 3 seasons at FC Goa. It was used a lot at Bengaluru, and also used quite a bit at Kerala Blasters. So Renedy bhai, what is my point is, what is the thing with this formation? Sanika, just hold it on that first slide only. Don't go back to that. 4-2-3-1. Why has this formation, you reckon, been favored the most in a league that's only 7 years old?
I think, see, 4-2-3-1 with Habas. I was under Habas, if you see, in Pune, but he couldn't succeed much in Habas. Like we said, if you talk about the individual qualities. So when you are playing 4-2-3-1, it may sound attacking, but it is very defensive kind of thing. We all know Habas, what type of football he play. He play counter-attacking game. He don't play all out. He wait and counter-attack. So 4 and 2 is almost 2 will not. So three midfielder and 1 striker plays a very important role. But so if you see last year, the player who was playing on the wing and the withdrawn striker and the top number 9, if you see that, those are really, really fast. 4 and 2 will try and compact, stay, wait, and 3 and 1 is the players who they concentrate on all-out attack. If they don't defend much, it's also all right. But 4 defenders and 2 sitting midfielders have to defend, and they don't have to go up all the time. So if you see, for first year, we played against Kerala Blasters, played against this system, and then they won on the corner kick. But again, with this, the same system he was trying to play in Pune City, because we didn't have those 3 attacking midfielders and 1 striker. We were not, there was no individual brilliance as much. So
yeah, I think Renedy's
we've
lost him, but I think he'll come back. But Jaideep sir, 4-2-3-1, I kind of get it. 4-2-3-1 is kind of a formation where I've noticed that, like Renedy was saying, a lot depends on the 3 and 1 up front. Because I mean, the formation is there and how you follow it, but once you reach attacking half, attacking third, then it's your individual brilliance, how you move, where you move. Then you don't stay according to structure. Then you try to break them down with your intelligence and what confidence you have on the field.
True. see on board, on paper, everything looks very hunky-dory. Everything looks very nice, but it depends whether your players can do it.
Yeah.
And as Renedy said about Bob Houghton, he will make it repeat and repeat and repeat, so the shape will never break up. So that is the thing with ISL teams. I think, see, 4-2-3-1 is very fine, but if you look at the success rate of the ISL teams, only those ISL teams have at least one or two, a couple of exceptionally good players. They have carried the team on their shoulder.
Yeah, but so 80K won with 4-2-3-1 two titles. Bengaluru 4-2-3-1 again, they've got one title. So clearly there is something there. Lobera, despite not winning a title, has stuck to 4-2-3-1 over the 3 years that he was in Goa. So clearly there is something in this formation and the makeup of the Indian and foreign player that these coaches are always adopting the style. That's what I'm trying to just say.
That could be one of the reasons, because he thought, see, there is a difference between Indian and foreign players. I'm not talking about everyone, but there are a lot of Indian players who are not tactically as good, not only tactically, even skillfully. Football is finally a game of skill.
Yeah.
You have to hold the ball. As Johan Cruyff said, it is not played with your leg, but played with your brain. Johan Cruyff once said. So it is like that only. So whenever these teams have succeeded, even if with this same formation you were talking about, you will notice these teams have better brand of players in their team. That's
Absolutely,
the reason
yeah.
they have succeed. Even if you try it with mediocre players, if your foreign players are not up to the mark, if your Indian players are not properly well trained, then whatever formation you give, it will be very difficult to succeed. This much I think. And if you ask me for the first, at least out of the 6 ISL seasons, first 4 years, I was absolutely not impressed with the way their training went. You could watch from the game that their training is good, but it's not as serious as a championship training should be.
The intensity, you're saying, basically.
Intensity, whatever people say, like Renedy said, it is like East Bengal and Mohun Bagan in Calcutta. There is a lot of intensity because you have to win. That was missing from most of the ISL team, at least in the first 4 seasons, I thought. And when they are allowed to watch 15 minutes of training and for different teams, I thought, I'm sorry to say, I thought Renedy, I don't know Renedy, what Renedy has to say. I thought this training is not a championship training. This is just a training only.
I'm
in
not.
The last couple
Yeah,
of
I'm
years,
not sure.
I have seen things have improved in the last couple of years. Definitely, it is. That's my feeling. I may be wrong also.
नहीं, एक तो प्री मैच या मैच डे वाला जो
intensity कम
ट्रेनिंग
तो
होता है,
होता
वो इंटेंसिटी तो ट्रेनिंग का कम होता ही है, undoubtedly, because at that stage
होता है.
you don't want to pick up any injuries unnecessarily,
But
and plus you're hoping by that stage already the players are drilled enough. Sorry,
but
I agree.
Yeah. Siddhant, you know what Jaideep Da is saying, that the intensity of the league, if you see, you know, if you have to understand that Nesta can play 2-3 matches, Del Piero was there. So the intensity will not be there when you are, of course, all due respect, they are great players, but they are already 35, 37 years old. So the intensity is going to be low. Now the ISL have started signing young players who can run.
Yeah.
So now the big name players are not there, but the good quality players are still there. And when the players who are 25, 20, I can understand all the CEO or the sports director are planning to sign or are signing all those young players, young foreign players who can play in high intensity. So when it started, yes, because I can understand for the marketing point of view, they have to invite all those big players, but the intensity, that's what Jaideep Da is saying. The intensity has become better in last 1 or 2 years or 3 years. This is what Jaideep Da is saying.
Yes,
Right?
I will explain to you.
Yeah.
I thought at one point of time in the first 2-3 seasons I'm talking about, I thought what is going on is not serious. I have a feeling.
Yeah.
There is at least one player in Delhi team, that time Delhi was there. They did not go to Bhubaneswar by that time. One Delhi team, there was a player who was an India player. And I remember him running 30 yards with the ball. 30 yards he ran down the ball. He walked so hard. And then a 5-meter pass to Roberto Carlos. A 5-meter square pass to Roberto Carlos. I thought, this is football or what it is going on? Are they serious? Just because it is Roberto Carlos and ये क्या चल रहा है मुझे लगा है ये क्या फुटबॉल चल रहा है what I thought what's happening is not really serious.
But it has become better now. I can understand Ljungberg. He played only 2 matches.
In the last
but Ljungberg, if you see Ljungberg, who was there playing for Arsenal, a great Arsenal player who has played because he got injured. But then things are different now. It has become much more tougher, faster, and much more tactical. Yeah.
That's what I say. Last couple of years, it has improved.
Absolutely. And so I'll tell you what, the clear. I think all three of us will be on the same picture. A clear indicator of how intense your training is how your 90 minutes turn out on match day. It is a known fact. Kuch bhi kar lo. Your 90 minutes on match day, the intensity you play is all a result of the intensity you're putting down in repetitions of training. It's for Leeds. Leeds ka aapne dekha na, the intensity with which they were going in yesterday.
Yeah, true. So if we come back to Arjun Pandit's question, I feel, Sergio Lovera, the way they have played under him, Goa, I think they have played the most beautiful football if you see in ISL. We must give credit
could you play the Lovera this thing, please? Yeah, Hanji, sorry.
Sure. Yeah, so if we see the game, a player like Jackie Chan, who is in and out of Indian team, who was in Mumbai City, who was with us in Pune City, but he couldn't come out with his best performance. If you see, but then see the same against when he played under Sergio Lovera. So yes. So if you see the way Jackie Chan has played under Sergio Lovera, he was a different player. So now we must give credit to him for the way he have led the Indian players and a mixture of foreign players perform. He playing from the back, high pressing football and possession game. So this is something I want to see more. But it will be nice to see he has joined Mumbai City, and it will be great. But then the players he will not get all the players. He could retain some of the players over there. But a player like Jackie, who has signed for Jamshedpur FC, I feel I don't know if he can produce the same kind of. I'm not doubting on his, but then I don't know if he can play give the same kind of performance what he has given for Goa FC. So yes, players. There are some players, under that system it works. But yes, I really love the way when Sergio Lovera was there when Goa was playing.
Annie bhai, I'll tell you what, the beauty of a coach and the formations through the season tell you, the consistency of the formations tell you how set you are with the team you want. Now in 2017, when Lovera came in, it is pretty obvious he was not still set, as in he wasn't 100% sure with the team that he had. So he's gone 4-3-3, he's gone 4-4-1-1, he's gone 4-4-1-4-1 as well, and he's done 4-2-3-1. Then come the second season, 2018-2019, uske player aa gaye, sir. 2018 and 2019, he has only gone 4-2-3-1, 4-2-3-1. Only one odd matches he's gone to 4-4-2 or 4-5-1. And therein lies the beauty of this. It's the consistency of the coach. His ethos translates into the players he gets, and thereby the finished product comes out in the 90 minutes.
Yes, and almost the 80% of the players will be there. First, to transition period, it takes time. Like you said, in second year, it was boom. It was showing in the ground, whatever they have been doing for last one and a half year, it was showing in the ground. But then if you go to the European, there are some, German league is very tactical. If you see that way, if you talk about the German coach in PSG, they change their tactics in the game two or three times in the game.
It's confusing.
They change the formation. It's very confusing. So they change. They start with 4-1-4-1. They will go to 4-3-3. And it keeps changing. So it's very, very difficult. And German, we talk about Julian Nagelsmann. He's so famous for changing tactics. When he was working in Hoffenheim. Hoffenheim came to India also, but he didn't come. But so those are the coaches, and German coaches especially, they keep changing. And we have 4-4-2 Diego Simeone, who play compact, whatever. He will not change the formation. He will just stay intact, 4-4-2 defense and go on counter-attack. So there is pros and cons of that, but some coaches, they keep changing. So it's confusing. Yeah, just imagine if you're playing against Julian Nagelsmann or the coach or against PSG, who keep changing, tactics. So
I think we come back a bit to like what kind of teams you have, and so many different factors come into play. How long the coach has been at a particular club, has he or she been able to put together the kind of team that they
How
want?
much freedom he's given to
Absolutely,
make his team.
yeah. You know, and
So-
then what is the level of sort of tactical awareness of your players that you can during the game based on match situations? I'm sure that
But yeah,
even a guy like Tuchel or whoever it might be at PSG or wherever, they will, you know, when you're doing tactical sessions with your squad, you'll have one tactic that you might be your bottom or your starting tactic, and then based on match situations you'll have a couple of variations that will also be trained, and the players will become over the preseason, they'll become very adept at understanding automatically कि match situation के मुताबिक हमें कैसे adjust करना है, अपना mentality, अपना formation, अपना shape कितना fluid होना है, कितना rigid होना है, कितना compact होना है, कितना wide होना है, you know. So the level of I think like rightly, of course, no doubt, the level of repetition, the level of confidence that the players have in the coach, and likewise the coach has in the player.
So that's the
Often
management.
that indicates,
Yeah, that's for that management has to give enough time to the coach. But we see in current football world, you know, not many coaches have time. You know, in that 2 or 3 months, they have to show their game. You know, that's why you are paying millions and millions of dollars, you know, for the great players. So if we take out from Calcutta, Habas, they were a champion, right? So if we take out the 2 players from New Zealand, who is a striker, so do you think they can play the same style of football?
Sanika, can we play that slide of Habas, which is the one where he's saying that, so basically in Habas we found, now see, there is usme koi do raha nahi hai, he is the most successful coach in the ISL, right?
Yes.
He's won 2 ISL titles, he's reached the semi-finals once.
Now
Renedy bhai, in the first 2 seasons, jab they won the title in 2014, and then of course came in the semi-finals in the second season, it was pretty much 4-2-3-1. Right? I think the first season में no one knew what they were doing. सच में आपको मैं ये बताऊं, अभी किसी को पता ही नहीं था first season में क्या हो रहा है. अभी एक नई चीज आ रही है तो चल रहा है. But by the second season you saw 4-2-3-1 पे he sat. Then बात बनी नहीं, बीच में he came with you at Pune, and then came last season where they were using mostly 3-5-2 to win that second 80K crown, second ISL crown, and more so Renedy by 3-5-2 going forward, and but turning into a 5-3-2 in defense.
Yes. So 3-5-2 going forward is where your 2 side backs are helping the attacking system, but then most of the time you will see it's 5-3-2. So you know when you're playing, so it's more of a defensive kind of thing. You know, of course it sounds good 5-3-5-2, but most of the time you see that 5-3-2, and you're only depending on those 4 players up front, and we have seen that, you know, how dependent they are on those players from the 2 New Zealand players. So it boils down to the individual players again, what Jaydeepda was talking about. So if you don't have this individual brilliance, you know, whatever, if you take Koro out from, or Jahu out from Jahu and Koro out from Goa FC, I don't know if that formation will work. So first of all, we have to give enough time, and then individual brilliance. And if you don't have individual brilliance, you have to stay compact and defend, and then go on counter attack. You cannot do anything. So if Habas was such a really, really good coach, without the individual brilliance, Pune would have succeeded, because he played the same style, and that was not a beautiful game. But last year, I think that we have to give credit to the New Zealand players. Krishna, if you take out Krishna, and I don't know how many games they are going to win. Krishna and Williams, if you take out those 2 players from the same player, I don't know how many games they're going to win. So it all comes down. So individual brilliance is important to make work the system.
Jaydeep sir, आप intensity की बात कर रहे थे. Now when you talk about intensity in the ISL, here is probably one of the most intense coaches. And I might be wrong because of his theatrics and whatever he's showing on the touchline and everything. And I've been on the touchline a lot of times during the ISL, so I'm seeing it firsthand. But how intense would you say is Antonio Habas? Have you gone to any of his training sessions in those first 2 seasons?
I have been. He's a good coach, and he's an intense coach, and he knows which player to play. That I must, because when the same team went to Terry Sheringham, we saw what happened.
Completely fell apart.
But he's also lucky to have players. See, one thing, Renedy being himself a coach will know, you have to tell the coach what you want. You want to win championship, or you want to stay in the first four so that you can go for the Europe Cup, European Championship. You can go to Europe, or you say, okay, even if we don't finish in the first four, let us finish in the first eight so that our team can go to Europe. In the Europe Cup we can go, or you tell them, okay, this time that this is the budget, this way we should go, and let us be in the middle of the table. So intensity comes from what you have to offer on the table to the coach. See, Habas has been very, very lucky. We know it very well that ATK is one of the biggest spenders of the league.
Yeah,
there is no doubt about it.
So you're saying they're not there. Are you saying that they are only spending 16.5 CR salary caps?
I will not answer to this. I may be liable to. But they are Renedy, tell me.
Go on, please go on.
So Renedy is I think Habas is also a part of the system where he has been given a team to win the championship.
Yeah.
Which
so it
not,
all
not
yeah.
I will send Habas to Northeast. Send Habas to Northeast and give him a team of what John Abraham has to give him. I will see. I'm not against him. I have nothing against him. He's a good coach, but he will not be able to produce the same result. That's what I say.
So it all comes down to budget, what Jaideep Das said. If budget, first we have to see how much money we can spend. So if you can spend 2 crores, what we have heard last Sunday we were talking, if you can spend 2 crores on an Indian player, see, how much they must be spending on a foreign player. So Habas have a very good experience, good coach, working in South Africa, working for Valencia, working as an academy technical director. Knowledge-wise, he have seen, and he was a good player in Spanish league also. He played in high level. So knowledge-wise, yes, he is big, but does he have the? So we have to see that the big spender, ATK Kolkata is a very big spender. And if he was working for some team like Northeast FC, will he be able to say? Will he be able to produce the same? So if we talk about that, there is a big question mark again. But again, but if after having the money, I can understand you have to choose the right players also, which he have done and he succeed.
If I can at this point, so let me just, I know we're talking about ISL tactics and formations, but I think maybe this is of interest to people who are watching. When it comes to the top league of the country, of course, winning and losing matters a lot. And then all of these factors come into play, perhaps far more than the football and the tactics by themselves. So when you are at an academy side, like now you are with Classic Football Academy, and there are no there's no, in the sense, the results don't matter, right? Right now you are concentrating on the process and you're concentrating on teaching the kids. Yeah. So when you do tactical sessions with your under 12s, under 14s, under 18s, what are the kind of things that you are looking at training them in, and what are the sort of when you play those games, you play against senior sides as well, you play against Manipur league sides. So how does that translate when you go onto the pitch?
So now all I want from my under 13, 15 and 18 is we play the same style of the game. So whatever the result, repetitions after repetitions, some of course we do the warming up differently, but after warming up and passing drill, when we do a tactical session, it's almost the same kind of thing every single day, because it will not happen for these kids in 1 year or few months. It has to have 3 or 4 years. So, and then after 4 or 5 years, it becomes automatic. But then to play the style of game which we all want to see, or which we all see in the English Premier League or Spanish League, you need to have top class technique, and after that you can add on strength, speed, and all those kind of things. So, but now what I'm all focusing on is playing a good football, but at the same time, sometimes we have to make the kid understand that sometimes you have to win ugly. Sometimes if we play with a better opponent, how do we defend? How do we play as a match? So if we play a better opponent and we see Liverpool and we see Leeds United and we go all out attack, we'll concede 10 goals. So then we have to make the kid understand that, see, when we play a better game, we need to know how good are we? And if we are not good enough, play compact, wait. So we have to teach the kid to play in all kinds of situations. Like we are talking about changing 3 different systems in one game. So to get that adaptation going, I think you need years and years of training. And then not training the kids, but then training the coaches. When you are working in the academy, those 10, 15 coaches having the same mind, meeting every day, talking about it is so important.
मैं आप लोगों को एक बेंगलुरु का एक फाइंडिंग दिखाता हूँ. If you could just play the Bengaluru slide right now. So the one good thing that I've seen from Bengaluru is that when Albert Roca came in that first season in the ISL, and of course they didn't quite win the title. I think they lost in the final in that first season of the ISL. That season, Carlos Cuadrat was there with him, right? He was there as his assistant coach. Then came the next season when Albert Roca was not part of the ISL. And so Carlos Cuadrat took over. And here is, it's a smart move because you pretty much, the makeup of your team is remaining the same. So Carlos Cuadrat did what? Why would I change the formation and stamp my own authority when something has worked for you the season before? You've reached the semifinals. He's continued with 4-2-3-1. And as a result of that, in their second season in the ISL, Bengaluru went and won the ISL crown. That's a smart decision. And for that, I feel a lot of that decision making and plaudits for that decision making has to go with the management. That there is a certain sense of understanding of football within the management. कि मतलब नया आदमी आया तो मतलब ये नहीं कहना कि सर उसी गेम बदलो यहाँ पे, नया बंदा आया नई आइडेंटिटी लाओ. अगर आपके खिलाड़ी वही हैं और अच्छे खिलाड़ी हैं, ये नहीं कि your खिलाड़ी आपके फील्ड पे कर नहीं पा रहे. If you have the same kind of players, then work the system that they're most familiar to, and it becomes easier for you as a coach then.
Yeah, I think he's a very smart coach. He Albert Roca is the one who got him to Bengaluru as an assistant. And when the assistant become a boss, I think you have seen that these players were day in, day out, working months and months. So why would I change the formation? It will take a longer period. And football, like we said, we want jitna jaldi ho sake result chahiye. So if you result chahiye, you continue the same, and he got the result, like you said. So it's a very smart move from him. But if you talk about tactical, if you talk about formation, when Bengaluru played against Goa, it was beautiful to see Goa high pressing, and they didn't do high pressing. Players like Sunil coming back and defending and going on counter attack, according to their abilities. But we must give credit to him also for a smart move, not changing too much. When players are already adapted to one system, why to change so much?
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. There is one more.
Albert Roca is the same coach who is now
a physical trainer.
Part of Ronald Koeman's team, right?
He joined as a physical trainer over there. Yeah.
Right.
He was with Hyderabad FC and he left a month and a half before the season. All the best to Hyderabad FC for the new edition of the ISL. I've got some comments coming in because in the last show I didn't take too many comments, and apologies, I didn't take too many comments. Aditya Narayan is saying, hey guys, no notification whatsoever. यार ये पुरानी कहानी है, ये YouTube के साथ आपकी लड़ाई है. YouTube के साथ आप ये लड़ाई लेके जाइए.
आपको और आप मतलब हर हफ्ते आते हैं भाई, आपको पता है 2 बजे हर संडे आते हैं, तो और नोटिफिकेशन क्या चाहिए? आप अपने फोन पे एक अलार्म लगाओ और आ जाओ.
दिल पे लगी बात है भाई. देखो वो भी मजे ले रहे हैं, वो
मजे ले रहे हैं. संडे का टाइम हम भी मजे ले रहे हैं.
Then Sankalpa Chatterjee, good afternoon, brother. Kunal Paul, which style and tactics suits the Indian players? I think we've spoken about it. Renedy has already said it on the show. You've got to be a little more pragmatic and figure out which players you have on the field. Aditya Narayan is saying, talk about Mohammedan Sporting, Annie Bhai. We'll talk about them in a coming episode, possibly closer to the second division. Then it'll be easier and there'll be more context to it. Rohit Singh is saying, BS strategy is playing is the best combination of defense and attack. Sanjay Murmu saying, hello guys, good afternoon. Sobik Bishwas is saying, I love these episodes, keep going on. Thank you for that. Chinmay Shekhar Dasta is saying, JCT also had a core strength by the likes of I.M. Vijay and Bhaichung Bhai and Ansari. Then of course we've got Abhijit Sampson is saying, what is the topic of the day? Good morning, sir. It's tactics in the ISL and the evolution of tactics in the ISL. GFFHFG is saying, we're talking about ISL formations tactics. Thanks, brother, for telling him.
That's
Then Sudeep JR is saying, hi Pandit Siddhant, forget about Qatar, watch out for under 16 batch, they're another level. Again, once the under 16s will be playing in the Asian level, we'll talk closer, we'll talk about them closer.
Yeah, it's been
cancelled.
Yeah,
that's cancelled. That's
it's not
cancelled.
cancelled.
For the time
so we'll talk. So I
Time
think
will
next
tell.
year, nothing before next year.
Next year.
Nothing before next year. I hope that answers your question. So we'll talk about them closer to the event. Gaurav Kanika is saying, भाई इस साल कोई इंडिया के गेम्स नहीं है. अच्छा आपने ही उनको बता दिया. अब उनके अपने बीच में यहाँ पे conversation भी चल रही है. Nice to see that. Akshat Patel is saying Leeds are my new crush. Okay, Siddhant's new crush as well. Rohit More is saying Leeds were amazing. Rohit More is also saying Arjun bhai start 420 grams FPL league. कोई खेलता है यहाँ पे FPL का? FPL का क्या है भाई? What is FPL?
Is it fantasy? Is that what
Fantasy?
they're talking about?
I'm too old. I'm too old for that, brother. I don't.
Renedy
कल
मैंने एक
कल आया था मैसेज. हाँ, I think ऐसा कोई कट ऑफ टाइम होता है ना, 1 घंटा या 2 घंटा before the matches start, you have to put your team in. तो कल आया था किसी का मैसेज कि करते हैं भाई try, and you have to find all kinds of ways to stay invested in the season. So this is another way of so that otherwise नहीं तो क्या होता है, आदत से मजबूर आप 1, 2, 3 टीमें देखते हैं, बाकी लीग को आप kind of because there's so much football going on. Chalo, as of now only the Premier League is going on, so we can focus on we only have that to watch. But generally when the season in Europe starts, all of a sudden you have every country 10 different leagues are going on. They are all on television, so you don't know who to follow, what to follow. But हुआ ये कि टीम सबमिट हिट करते ही इंटरनेट बंद हो गया. तो
भगवान ने भाई हाथ उठा लिया ऊपर से.
So I think we are collectively we are all too old for this fantasy business.
Yeah, bro, this FPL business doesn't work for us. अपने को ना सूट नहीं करता है. Our time is saying hello guys, hello sir, back to you. Chinmoy Shekhar Datta saying, what do you think of Holicharan Nazari in the left wing position for the national team and the tactics of Steam match? Renedy bhai, you want to take this question?
Yeah, I think Holicharan is a guy who can run a lot, who fight for 90 minutes. But then I'll be happy if he can improve his technique, because see now Holicharan, when we are playing against a team like Qatar, I think we need Holicharan who can run up and down, fight, defense, compact. But when we are playing against Bangladesh, I think Holicharan needs to be more creative. Not only Holicharan, but our wingers need to be more creative, more technically sound player. We need that. But Holicharan, I think, to be playing in every matches, I feel he has to show more attacking prowess, or attacking that he has got in attacking brilliance. So I feel he's more of a guy, a runner who fights 90 minutes, but he has to improve if you want to play all the matches.
Renedy bhai, very nice question from Prateek Mishra. ये भी आपके लिए ही है. Is tactics a reason why ISL clubs are not appointing Indian coaches? I think that's a very, very good question.
I think the only thing is now they have got this criteria where no Indian can become an ISL coach for maybe 2-3 years, or you have to
pro license. You need to be pro license holder.
No, there are many pro licenses in India. If you see Savio, if you see Thang Boy, if you see even Clifford Miranda, where we did A license together, he's got a pro license. We have the technical director from Goa. Direct. Yeah. So Indian tactical. The only thing is give them a chance, see if they are good enough. And I feel there are already 6 or 7 pro license coaches who are equally good, but they have they have not played in the World Cup, because if you see all that, if they have already coached in the World Cup, I don't think not many Indian coaches can become a ISL coach. But you have to see what they can do or what they have done. So you have to give chance to prove. So they need a platform to prove. But I think they will do. I'm not saying all the foreigners who are coaching in India, ISL or India League are good. No, it's maybe because of the color. But don't see the color. See the abilities. Let you give the thing to Indian chance to Indian coaches. They will prove.
Jaideep sir, this next question is for you. It's about Wim Kovermans ka jo era tha with the Indian team. Not a very successful era. Aditya Vijay Kumar is saying Wim Kovermans tried to play tactically but could not succeed. What did you make of his time with the national team?
I think his main problem was that he was a good coach. You can't say he was a bad coach. But he as we were discussing all this thing, and what Renedy was being repeatedly saying about the quality of the players, he preferred tactics above the quality of the players. That was the problem. He should have been like Bob Houghton. Play 4-4-2. Straight away play 4-4-2, because you know your player's ability. They will give you the result. Whatever little result you have, you give it. But Koverman from the day one, he has been saying that the match should start from the back. The right back or the left back should start the game and finish it up at the box. But do we have players to do it? That's been my question always. So that was Koverman's fault, I would say. Renedy wants to.
I think this is a very good answer from Jaydeep Da, Arjun. We were talking about Bengaluru, how Albert Roca, the assistant of Albert Roca, did the same after he left, right? So if I was coming back, if I was the Wim Koverman, and then Holland has got their, very strict tactical 4-3-3, who always philosophy. So what Jaydeep Da said, you don't have to see now. I think I'll be smart enough. So I have seen that this same place has been working for 6 years, and in few months, can I change? And if that doesn't work, I'm gone. My job is finished. So if you want to change the tactic, you have to see how much time the officials can give you, and you change slowly. You just don't change right away. So they have already adapted playing 6 years, the same repetitions every single day, and then suddenly you come and change. You don't have that much time, and that's what it happens. We are not saying he's a bad coach; he's a good coach, but adaptation is, I think, that he should have started slowly. I think it was too soon, I feel.
And I think also when you start from it's a challenging situation to be in. I mean, from for a guy like Wim Kovermans, you come in with, you have pedigree as a player. He was part of the squad that won
I'm
the
sure the
European
federation is
Championship.
also telling him change his style a little bit. I'm sure. कोई तो बोल ही रहा होगा वहाँ पे.
Yeah, no doubt, because उस time बात क्या हो रही थी कि Bob was coming in for criticism.
Yeah.
Right. कि ये what is this English style of route one football, blah blah blah. ये सब बात हो रही है. But आप जब national team, मतलब maybe it's Wim's philosophy of starting the game at the back and ending it at the box is something that he could have employed if he were training the juniors, if he were working with the under 16, under 19s. But when you are at the senior team level, who have already spent so much time, एक तो आप नए आ रहे हैं after many years, so you're trying to establish a rapport with the players. There are so many things going on off the pitch that also feed into what finally translates into your team and its results. So you're trying to come in and influence a dressing room that is already unsure. You're trying to do it from a theoretical and philosophical background that is Dutch, that is very different from maybe if he took over as India's hockey coach, he could have had a more stronger impact playing those kind of tactics that he was trying to employ with the football team. But yeah,
I think it's a
yeah. Please carry on.
It's a very good point, Siddharth, what Siddhant had said. You could have. No. But for the formation, he should have tried with the young ones, under 16, under 18, to get that formation going, because there is not much pressure there. So, or you can talk to all the under 17, 15, or 18 coaches that this is what I want. Slowly make them aware, and then senior, you have to do it in the right time, in the right manner. But the only thing is, when you're going for a war and your weapon, if you don't have a good weapon, you don't. So you fight according to your weapon. As easy as that, Formation, we want to change. We want to have our style.
See, Koverman's basic problem was he came up with a idea. We came up with a formation and a philosophy, which he tried to force down the throat of others. That's what I thought. That is. See, Bob, I remember Bob first 3-4 months he only watched. He only watched. And Bob was one coach. I don't think even an Indian coach could do it. He used to remember all 80, 90 players in the I-League. Even one boy from Arunachal Pradesh, he has played two matches for Salgaonkar. One boy from Meghalaya, his name is most difficult to pronounce, but Bob will know him. Bob will say, that player, he has a good left. But amazing quality Bob had. He didn't know Indian players. Oh, I'm not saying he knew 20 Indian players, 20 in the national team. He knew all the 100 players who were playing in the I-League. So what happened? Bob watched those 100 players. He judged their ability, and then fit in his philosophy and came up with system and philosophy and everything. He first judge what his players can do, what they can deliver. That's all.
Yeah,
Isn't it,
Renedy?
Yeah, they're very true. That are very true.
I'm not to defend Wim too much or anything, but obviously when you come in as the head coach of a senior national team, you expect there to be some kind of lowest common denominator, right? Now in India, that situation may or may not be true. So and it's not the fault. This is nobody's fault. It's not the player's fault. It's not. It's just how things are, and perhaps, and that's why the India job is not a job that I think many coaches around the world are eager to get their hands on. It's a very challenging situation to come into. It's a very difficult job to do, because especially in the regional, despite everything, you're still expected to win. So
see, I will little bit dispute here, Siddhant. India job is one job. Lots of coaches all over the world in one sit. There is one more. There is a reason behind it also. In football, all over the world, there are hundreds of places who have a very good team, but their federation is not in a position to pay you in time.
Fair enough.
It's a fact.
Yeah.
But India is one of the few countries where the coach will get his salary credited to his account on the first of every month. There are a lot of places who are very good team, very talented players, but the financial position of the federation may not be as good as any other federation, like some other federation is. So they do want to come, but as Siddhant said, they want to force down the philosophy through our throat.
I mean, we've like I think you guys were bringing up earlier. We saw with Igor Stimac and the national team. They also, when we were there for their opening press conference, and the kind of conversation they were having about how they wanted to play football, and how they wanted all the teams across the age groups leading up to the senior team and the women's team and all of that, everyone to play a certain kind of football. But unfortunately, you realize that may or may not be possible because of what is the reality on the ground. What are the players you have? What is the pool of players that you have to work with, and on all of those things. When I said it's not a job that a lot of coaches want to take, I don't mean, of course, it's a great job, and if I think any of us were offered the job, we would be hard pressed to say no to it. No doubt, financial or no financial. But what I mean is, it's definitely a challenging job to come in with any kind of ideas and then try and. So when a coach is interviewing for a particular position, especially as a foreign coach who has little or no on-ground experience of Indian football or how football is in India, you might have all kinds of ideas of the kind of things you want to do, but unless you are starting at a very basic level, I think there are huge obstacles in the way of trying to translate those ideas, those philosophies into actually having an impact on the pitch.
But the point is,
Arjun,
that's with your
permission, I will ask Renedy one question.
No, sir.
I will.
Please, sir. Please.
After 1 year, Renedy, are you sure of Stimac's first 14 players?
Oh, good question.
Yeah, I think it's a big challenge for him. He's still looking at the right combination, and we need to give more time. More, because India is not as such where you play 2 matches in a week everywhere. For 9 months, where coach can travel or the assistant can travel and see how the players are. To get the right combination, it's very difficult for him. Yes, I know he's still finding that masala. But it takes time, and I think he's not getting enough time with the players.
And now the pandemic is not helping as well. Pandemic is also
and tell me one thing, Renedy, in that case, from your own experience, you tell me, since you were there, how did Bob manage his first 14 within a year?
First 14, because so now everyone was against this idea, but very few people were supporting. When we were out for 9 months, traveling around Europe, traveling around Asia, playing the same. So we could train every single day for months and months. We were in Sporting Lisbon
You
for
were like
2
a club
months.
team only. You were like a
Yeah,
club team.
we were, yeah, yes, brother. We were in Sporting Lisbon training for 2 months, playing matches every weekend with the local club who is in 2nd division, 3rd division over there. And that's the process. But I don't know if we can give enough time to Stimac to get that. I think Bob has been very adamant. He knows whatever he wants, and he have seen that in Korea also. Korea is such a great team, right? I think they once Korea also were traveling. Korean team were traveling for 9 months together, not playing in any club. And then it's the same that is done in Switzerland also, I've heard. So there are a few countries you can do it, but I don't know.
Also.
Qatar also did it. So without playing, so that you develop that understanding. We talk about all this formation coming now. Until unless you develop that, you don't gel. Only meeting for 2 days or 3 days before the tournament, not enough. And we haven't reached that stage yet.
So I think जो रेनेडी भाई की 2011 की जो एशियन कप टीम ने जो किया था, which is that is not possible now with the national team players, because ISL वाले बोलेंगे भाई अगर आप इंडिया के बेस्ट 20 प्लेयर्स को लेके जा रहे हो 9 महीने के लिए, तो हमारी लीग का क्या होने वाला है? That time possibly the Hero I League did not have that much of a say.
No, they
that
did.
time it was India is playing at the 2011 Asian Cup. So we need to prepare a team because we're going there after so long.
Yeah,
it was clubbed together with Australia, South Korea, and so on. So I think that balance has shifted. Now if you say India is going to play the next Asian Cup, मुझे Igor Stimac कह रहा है आप मुझे ये टीम दे दो, मैं 25 लड़के लेके जाऊंगा all over Europe. फिर आप देखो वो अपनी philosophy डाल देगा सर अंदर, क्योंकि फिर like Bob Houghton आपकी निगरानी में है, off the field, on the field, non-stop in front of you.
So,
but abhi kya ho raha hai,
to do
that is not
like
reality, but that's not reality, bhai. My point is that is not reality.
Absolutely,
it's
not
work
possible.
With your league. Have to work with your league.
And in the long run, I mean, you can do it once, you can do it twice. Like even the other examples of other countries that have done it, like Renedy was mentioning, you एक दो बार हो सकता है, but sustain नहीं कर सकते आप. ऐसा नहीं कर सकते कि आप national team आपकी अलग ही रहेगी सबसे. जैसे हॉकी में होता है, like because there is no league structure in India, right? जो भी competitions होते हैं, they are either institutional competitions or whatever. Club competitions बहुत कम होते हैं. So the top 30, 40, 50 players remain in a national camp through the year.
That came much later.
No, of course, much later,
yeah. I know what you're saying. He identified in India only, Peli.
Yeah.
India. So 2008, they won the what do you call that tournament? AFC Challenge Cup. Without getting into this thing. Only once
that
they
was
qualified for the only they qualified, then only it became.
Because you have to the level of the AFC Challenge Cup and the AFC Cup main draw is completely different. So in order to make that jump up in a short period, when you don't have a robust enough domestic structure, which we all know is an issue. So at that point, the I-League might have been okay to admit that, okay, we are not there yet. So in order for a larger national interest, we are okay to let these players, and also you have to then also understand that from the perspective of I-League club owners at the time, these are the top earning football players in the country whose salaries for 1 year are being taken over by the All India Football Federation.
What I mean to say, but by 2000, 2008, 2009, the first 14 of Bob has already been selected. Mishtu had already come into the team. Anwar had already come into the team. Mishtu has replaced Sandeep into the goal. So team was more or less built by that time. That is what I want to say.
True. So what Bob Houghton has done is, when see Anwar, a player like Gurpreet, I've said this before also.
Yeah.
So he see the player while you have this 18 proper 18 or training, and then he used to invite the players who he want, like 3-4 players he will invite just for the camp. Yeah. So Gurpreet used to come and go, never selected for the first 18 or 20, and even Anwar, he came thrice before getting selected. So he used to have to adapt that system. He used to train with us for months and months, and he used to go back after 15 days. He will go back and come back. So so that's how he's very sensible. Bob, that way, he's by far, I feel the way he controlled the whole team. I think this we could learn a lot, and I'm really happy that I could play 6 years under him.
सर एक बड़ा अच्छा सवाल आया है. This is for anyone. Aditya Vijay Kumar has put in a good question, just because it's pertaining to the topic we're talking about right now. Do you think Igor Stimac is pulling for wanting to get PIO players in his squad because he feels he would not get enough time to train and develop a team tactically going forward? So thereby you're getting players from a league where they're tactically sound already.
Yeah.
So the work on them is a lot lesser than what you would probably have to do.
So for me,
completely a hypothetical. Yeah, please.
No, Dada, you go on after you.
Yeah, what I want to say, this is absolutely a hypothetical question because it will never happen. The government rule doesn't.
No, but he's just questioning the motives of why he's pulling for a PIO player. He's questioning the motives.
He wants quick result. I think the two draws against Bangladesh and Afghanistan has really devastated him. It has destroyed all his planning. He had plans in his mind, but his plans have been completely destroyed by this two draw. Now you tell me, Arjun, one thing. I will ask Renedy also the same thing. If India doesn't qualify for the Asia Cup 2023 Asia Cup, then what will happen to our domestic football in the next 2 years? Even if we bring Pele and Maradona in ISL, it will completely get lost, isn't it?
So Dada has already replied to that question that government is not going to allow. In case if government allows, my point is like when we need creative, we need individual brilliance to win at this current time, and when we talk about the long term, we have got enough young players working hard to be the best, yes. Yeah. But if we want to win right now, if there is a good PIO who can change the game, bring in, let him play, get a win, get qualified. If the government allows, that is, if the government allows. So now, even PIO also, you just don't tell him straight away that, we are going to select you. Just see him 15, 20 days, bring him twice and thrice. And when you know correctly, when you know that his show is good, select him and let him play if he's a really creative, good quality players. We need quality players to break down against Bangladesh, to break down against smaller teams who play compact. And we don't have that creative players. We do have few.
Guys, I think Hemil Makwama ne bhi badi achhi baat boli hai. Just keeping in mind with the conversation, it's like a short-term solution hai PIO. I think all of us agree with that. That is a short-term solution for the next 5 years or something.
You need some. Has to be some kind of something that comes to the aid of both the national team as well as the coaches as well as everyone in the short run to help, because like we were talking when Bhaichung had come, Renedy Bhai, that unless the national team results are dramatically better, the interest in the domestic league and everything follows from that.
Yep.
And when we say results, it's not just about qualifying for the Asian Cup. It's also about when we get to the Asian Cup, what we do there, to make sure that we are in the top 6, top 8 of Asia. If that is the goal, that's not going to happen in the short run or even in the long run without these great individual talents. There are very few teams, like even a team like Iceland, you might say that their strength is in playing as a unit and all of that. But there are standout. You saw what happened. I mean, okay, they did remarkably well against England in the recent Nations Cup game without 4 or 5 of their top players. But you see how much of a difference those individual talents make, and without that,
see, now
very challenging for any coach.
Again, it all comes down to how good our youth system is. Yeah. Right, and then coming back to that question, now Bob Houghton tried when we were in Dubai for 4 months training. Bob Houghton invited Michael Chopra. Michael Chopra was in Newcastle and a few other teams, Southampton. Then he
was at Cardiff at the time.
Cardiff, he's a legend of Cardiff, yes, but then in Premier League he was in Southampton and Newcastle. So Bob Houghton knew that we need one great individual striker who can score goals, and he have seen that Chopra fits that position really well. So he invited Chopra. Chopra have seen the match, but like Dada said, government didn't allow. So So it would have been a great thing if Chopra could have played in prime of Chopra. We are not talking about Chopra when he came, but then in those days he was playing really good. He could have helped us getting better results, you know. And yes, for short term, we should do that, because now we need players. We don't have enough players to create. But in long term, youth system. In long term, youth system, proper youth system is the only way.
Absolutely. And by proper youth system, matlab, where young players are getting a chance to play 40-50 games a season. Yeah?
Yes.
There's no other alternative to building a strong national team.
When I say proper youth system, doesn't mean that, you know, they get a 5-star, they get a best and only thing, good thing to eat, good way, a good place to stay. No, but I want platform for them where they can play competitive matches, youth league for 8-9 months, and that's the only way.
That's the only way.
I think हमने ना 1.5 घंटे कर लिए हैं. पहली बात तो ना जवानों जो YouTube पे कमेंट कर रहे हैं, और भाई मैं कह रहा हूँ अपनी ना बन रही है, बंदे लगे हुए हैं, कंसिस्टेंटली लगे हुए हैं. मैंने आज बहुत लोगों के नाम लिए, मैंने आज आप लोगों के क्वेश्चंस भी लिए, सो आई होप यू गाइस आर सैटिस्फाइड. बट हम लोग ना शो को थोड़ा बंद करने वाले, क्योंकि हमने शुरुआत करी थी NFL I League, then we went into the main topic of the show, which is the ISL, and we spoke at length about it, and then somehow we drifted towards the national team, but it is connected, so it is only obvious that you talk about the national team. I'm going to end the chat with one question for everyone.
Renedy, before Renedy wants to say something.
No, before this, what I like about, you know, if I was watching this, you know, if I was not as a football expert or an ex-football player, you know, what I like about this show is that, you know, it doesn't stay on. Today we are supposed to talk about tactical issue, but then according to the viewers who are watching, we are trying to, you know, it's like we are having a chat with them, you know, and that's the best thing about, you know, it's not like, oh, we are talking whatever the viewers is saying, we don't try and, you know, respond, you know, but we are trying to do that, and it's just a nice chat with conversation with everyone, and it's lovely, I feel. So we are not staying on one. Yeah.
Sun liya, viewers. Sanika, our producer, please clip this. This clip will be played for the next 1 week by Renedy Singh on Newsclick Sports Instagram page to promote the show. Also, आप लोग जो सब कह रहे हो notifications नहीं आ रहे हैं, भाई छोड़ो ना YouTube का notification यार. Instagram पे Newsclick Sports को follow करो, एंड वहां पे आपको 1 दिन पहले या 2 दिन पहले आपको भाई पता चल जाएगा कि अपना शो कब आ रहा है, किस चीज के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, कौन कौन उस शो के किरदार हैं. So I'm ending it. Renedy, I'll start with you. Looking forward to season 7. FC Goa has a new Spanish coach, and I think they've understood the fact that what they had with Lobera, they want to continue somewhat on the same lines, but not exactly the same thing. So they want to continue with possession brand of football, because they've built that over the last 3 years, and the public likes it, so they wouldn't want to change it so much. Mumbai City FC now has Lobera, so they are going to try doing what he's done in Goa, because he's getting those players from Goa like Bumu, like Jahu, there's Mandar who's going there. Then you have Bengaluru FC, you have Habas, who still have Roy Krishna and Williams.
Yep.
Of these teams, are you really looking forward to, tactically as a coach, to watch what they will do on the field this season?
So now Habas will go. The Habas have, you know, retained the the core system. So Habas, the team will still be strong. And Goa is going through a transition, even though they have a very good assistant, Clifford Miranda, you know, who has been, you know, working under Lobera, and who understand that system really well. Even Direk Pereira, who is a technical director. So their support system, it's good over there. Even though having a good support system, also I feel they are going through a transition. So they will take little time, I think. But the best, even Bengaluru, the core is the same. So Bengaluru and ATK, they will do well, I feel, because they retain the same. But
striker नया आ रहा है इस बारी बेंगलुरु का, वो बड़ा देखना होगा how he fits into the team.
Bengaluru striker was a problem for last 2 years. I think it has been Sunil is playing on the left as a left wing, but striker was a problem last year. Striker will still be a problem. If they are lucky enough, they will get it. But Bombay, with such great signing, let's see what you know. That's the. I'm really looking forward to see how, if they can really perform what they have done, Lobera and his party have done in Goa, if they can repeat the same. But I think it will take time. But Bengaluru and ATK, I think they have retained the core, so they will still do well.
Jaideep sir, as someone who's been following football through its very different phases, and here we are in current phase, right? I won't say anything more about it, just current phase. Are you happy that now there is a team like Mumbai, there is a team like Goa, there is Bengaluru who are a little more pragmatic, but a lot of these teams are focusing on possession-based football, which is thereby technically making your Indian player better in the long run. Maybe not at the time, but kar karke, that repetition of wanting to play will eventually make them better.
See, if you are serious, then everything will make you better. If they are serious, and these people look serious, so I hope they things will be. But this season, I will only look forward to Habas. What does he do?
With
Because
Mohan
he has
Bagan.
got the play. He has got the players he has got. But the kind of pressure this time he will be under, how much if he is able to take it, I will have a look at it. Because previously, even if he loses 1 point or 3 points, it does matter, but it doesn't matter beyond a point. But now, as Renedy knows, Renedy has donned the jersey of both the teams. That playing there as a coach, working there as a coach on the sideline is not going to be an easy job, even if he has the best team in the country with him. So it will either make look Habas the best coach in the country, or I'm sorry to say it might be other way around also. I will have a look at Etike Momagan this time and how they fare, because this is the first time a team will be playing in the ISL under real pressure. What pressure means.
Yeah.
Any भाई हाँ जी आप predictions दो नॉर्थ ईस्ट यूनाइटेड की ओडिशा एफसी
सर प्लीज ये सब चक्कर में मत मुझे डालो बट ये तो क्या नो डिसरिस्पेक्ट टू एनी कोचेस एंड नाउ माय ब्रदर is a coach, so absolutely no disrespect to any coaches, but it's not we talk about even yesterday's going back to Liverpool Leeds for a second, we talk about Klopp versus Bielsa, but it is very much also down to the 22 players plus the bench of course, but the 22 players that are on the pitch, you know, so coach ke to matlab patte show hona ya nahi hona, a lot of it is also very much dependent on how the players are able to understand, adapt, and take advantage or not of whatever system the coach is trying to play. That's
true.
Sorted. Guys, once again, thank you so much for joining us. Acha, bhai, can we give them the big reveal? Who's joining us next Sunday? And this next week is going to be whose week?
अपना ही शो समझो भाई, जैसा आपको ठीक लगे.
अच्छा जवानों देखो, जो अभी तक छोड़ के चले गए ना, जो मैंने कहा कि हम लोग यहाँ से जा रहे हैं, तो सॉरी, बट ये देख लेना, 71 people watching. Next Sunday, we're going to be joined by the captain of the Indian football team, Sunil Chhetri. He is going to be joining us live at 2 p.m. रेंडी भाई आपको नहीं पता था, ये आपके लिए रिवील था सर.
हमको पता नहीं था
सर. हमने आ गए हम. So Sunil is joining us next Sunday at 2 p.m. Renedy bhai will be there, and of course आप दोनों एक साथ हो गए तो मतलब शो पे मजा ही आएगा. We're going to talk about a lot of things Indian football, and you know, it's the first time that Sunil will be joining us on the show. So I'm hoping
that's not true though. I mean, in this format maybe.
In this format, he hasn't joined us. Yeah, in this format, you've done an interview with him at his house in Bengaluru. But Sunil will be coming next Sunday at 2 p.m. So spread the word to all the people you know and make sure you join us live, because what will happen is, of course, we will have this conversation with Sunil. Annie and I will try to, of course, अपना हम लोग यहाँ पे सब लोग footage खाने की try करेंगे. But eventually, आप जो सवाल YouTube पे दोगे, we will try taking them to your captain, your leader, and your legend. And it's not just that, the build up to Sunil. So in a sense, this is 420 grams is Sunil Chhetri week, building up to Sunday. How? क्योंकि देखो ये क्या होता है, कभी कभी ना भगवान क्या करता है कि कुछ गलत काम से अच्छा काम भी निकल आता है. वो कैसे? वो ऐसे हुआ कि बहुत पहले जब सुनील छेत्री साहब ने 15 साल कंप्लीट किए थे, तो मैंने, सिद्धांत ने और रेनेडी भाई ने सुनील के टैक्टिकल एवोल्यूशन पे एक शो किया था, और वो शो गया 1 घंटा 48 मिनट, और मैंने पूरा शो सुना, और मैंने अपने भाई को बोला, भाई इसमें काटने लायक कुछ है नहीं. शो पे जयदीप सर भी हैं जिन्होंने कुछ बड़ी बेहतरीन यहाँ पे इंसाइट्स दिए फ्रॉम द ग्रेट सुखविंदर सिंह. तो हमने क्या कर दिया है, हमने क्या किया, इन द बिल्ड अप टू दैट संडे शो वी विल बी रनिंग अ 2-part एपिसोड on the tactical evolution of Sunil Chhetri. The first one will be coming your way on Tuesday, bhai, right?
Yes.
First one will be coming your way this Tuesday, and then the second part will be coming on Thursday. So this Tuesday, we will be talking about his time in Mohan Bagan. We'll be talking about his time in JCT. and of course, and the Indian team around that time. And in the second part, we will be talking about Sunil Chhetri when he goes abroad, and then after that, when he comes back, the player that he is for Bengaluru FC, and also the player that he is right now for the national team. So make sure you follow us on Newsclick Sports on Instagram. You will get notifications on when that show is coming. But याद रखना, देखो जी, सुनील छेत्री भी है Tuesday को part 1, Thursday को part 2 और Sunday को live मारे मजेदार यहाँ पे show होने वाला है. So we hope you enjoy. I hope you guys are going to follow it and spread it to everyone, man, because first time Sunil is coming on our show. Renedy bhai has been with him. He knows him so closely and they know each other as players and friends. So conversation में थोड़ा मजा आने वाला और थोड़े तड़के तो मैं और सिद्धांत तो डालेंगे ही.
No, absolutely, and I think that is the key difference here. It's not the Sunil is all over the place. He's got his own hundreds of thousands of followers on Instagram and stuff like that. He's doing little bits of interviews with famous people, Virat Kohli and all these guys. So he's very much out there. But there are, I think, very few places where people, fans like us, get the opportunity to have a guy like Sunil, who's a current international and captain of the national team, but also alongside someone like Renedy, who has known him since he was a chubby 17-year-old, 18-year-old, who landed up from Delhi with his baggy jeans at the
Delhi boy. That is the rising. That is the theme of these two shows, Delhi boys.
Yeah, so it's a.
अच्छा Renedy ये बताओ.
These guys bring the magic. हम लोग तो exactly हम तो सिर्फ उंगली करने वाले हैं.
हाँ जी.
अच्छा Renedy एक चीज बताओ Renedy, वो एशिया कप में गोल किसका था?
एशिया कप में बाहर में लग के अंदर, बट स्ट्राइकर लोग को गोल चाहिए तो सुनील लोग को भाई अपना छोटा भाई देना पड़ता है. लेकिन ये दिल्ली वाला लोग का अलग है. दिल्ली वाला लोग तीनों
दोनों क्या है, ये रायसीना बंगाली के पुराने किरदार हैं ये भाई साहब. Jaideep is as much a Delhi boy as any of us.
So basically the theme of the show is Delhi boys versus Renedy Singh. Yeah, that will be the show. This Sunday.
लेकिन Renedy सुनील बोलता है कि मैं जब भी Renedy भाई से मिलता हूँ बोलता हूँ Renedy भाई हाथ जोड़ता हूँ, गोल आपका ही था.
हाथ जोड़ने से फायदा क्या होगा? फीफा में तो सुनील छेत्री स्कोर करके आ गया.
ठीक है जी, done. So guys, just once again, just reminding you, Sunday live with Sunil Chhetri, Renedy Singh. If you have questions for them, do make sure you join us on YouTube at 2 p.m. live and put in your questions there. We will take them to Sunil and to Renedy bhai as well. And the build up to that Chhetri show, which is live, will be a 2-part series on the tactical evolution of Sunil Chhetri once he completed 15 years of professional football. The first episode coming out this Tuesday. It will not be a live show, so it will be coming out. So make sure you stay tuned to Newsclick's YouTube page. It will come out then. And part 2 will be out on Thursday. Okay? बस हो गया भाई, और कुछ? Anyone wants to say?
Nice.
No, thanks.
Thanks so much, guys. Good to see you.
Siddhant, Arjun, thank you, brother.
Okay. Sorry, Renedy bhai, lamba ho gaya, but once again.
No problem.
Thanks, guys, once again. See you next Sunday.
Thank you,
Thank you, Dada. Thank you. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.